child and drug abuse, domestic violence, and teenage pregnancy. Call in to air your views and make your contributions on 459-7885 or 459-7888. Family Matters on 88.5 Soufre FM.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, all our listeners. Well, it's kind of a rainy Monday today and a wet Monday, like Ulan said. But what can I say? We're happy to be alive by the grace of God. And, we are still breathing. And some of us are extra happy. Some of us are going through some emotions. But all in all, it's good to hear that persons have been listening to our program. So good morning to all our listeners from Hotel Chocolat, Miss Anne from the agriculture section, OJ, Canteen, all our market vendors, bus drivers, persons from canneries. It's always a pleasure that you are listening in, and persons that have been giving feedback. Persons say you need to speak a little bit more Creole, which I really, really appreciate the feedback. So good morning, everybody. This morning, September is known as Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and we wanted to start the awareness a little bit early this month. And the theme is Sickle Cell Matters. Show love, give blood for our National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And the reason why I really like that theme, because lately our hospitals have been going on a drive for blood, because our hospitals do not have a lot of blood, and we need, our family members need blood, especially those that are sick, have special medical conditions, those that have in accidents, those that need to go for surgery. And these are the things that they really need blood for. So again, in sync with everything else, go out, donate if you can. You can go to St. Jude's Hospital and so on. It's a good experience. I know some people have needle phobia, but there is nothing to be afraid of. They have quite light hands. So go out, donate blood. All the groups, you can come out, make a decision to go and donate blood, or family members and so on. So having said that, this morning we have a special guest. Well, I must say I know him personally. But he has been a member of the community for many years, and well, not where he's currently, but closer to my community. And I'm so happy he had the courage to come on the program today. I am really grateful and really happy, because many times persons have special medical conditions and they don't want to speak about it. And it takes a lot of courage to come out and speak about their journey, their experiences. And, especially via, the media. So again, I am so very happy that Karil can come in, and thank you, Silai, for setting me up with Karil. So without further ado, Karil, you can unmute your mic and you can introduce yourself to the, to the community.
Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Karil. A lot of people know me within the social community. Of course, I grew up in Dibra, so that's how I know Louisa, Dibra Roblo. Um, so pretty much one community, one family type of deal. So, and I would like to say thank you for having me here this morning to discuss or talk about sickle cell and sickle cell awareness.
Thank you, Karil. Karil, can you tell us the journey, like when you first diagnosed, at what age, and how you cope with it throughout your childhood as well as your adult life?
All right. So sickle cell, getting diagnosed with sickle cell, it actually took a little while before I got diagnosed. Being a child, I would get sick like quite often. Um, we couldn't figure out what was wrong. Going to the beach would get sick, just being home, playing, horsing around, and then I would get sick. It wasn't until about the age of 8 that we went to a doctor. I think it was Dr. Mondesi at the time. And then he asked my mom to get the sickle cell test done. And this is how I was diagnosed with sickle cell. Since then, from childhood into adolescence, it was a bit challenging. You know you're sick, but you want to be as normal as possible. So, and of course, having friends still doing the things that young people do, I would still get sick rather often. But then, as I transitioned into adulthood, I started tracking, with the pain crisis and the triggers, and then I started refining my life and my habits to reduce the amount of time or the number of times I would get sick or get hospitalized. And to right now, I could go like 2 years without being hospitalized
Really?
because of sickle cell. Yeah. Currently, probably 2.5 years now since my last hospital admission. But not saying that I don't go to the ER, but usually when I go to the ER, I'm already aware of what triggered the crisis, and I could help the physicians there decide the best way to treat me. Most times, well, my number one trigger is actually dehydration right now. So I have personally figured that out. So this is why most times when you see me, I always have a bottle of water with me. Because dehydration is one of the leading contributors to hospitalization, which is most times there are other contributing factors like infections, cold and flu, that type of stuff. But the leading contributor is actually dehydration.
So, Karil, can you change the location of your mic? We're seeing you kind of sideways. Not
Uh,
looking great.
uh, the camera, give me one moment. Uh, let's see that.
Yeah,
Is that better? All
yeah.
right, my apologies.
Thank
My
you,
apologies.
Karil. Room.
Yeah.
Um, Karil, you said as a child you were doing things to trigger you. What are some of the things that you used to do as a child, even though you know you're sick, that you used to do, and that would trigger, the condition a bit?
Well, the main thing would be physical exertion. You go out as a child, like running around, playing, and not hydrating as much as you're supposed to. You know, this time of the year, school is out, so the summertime, the summer break, we would always be out running around in the field, playing, going down to the rivers, that type of stuff. And you don't take care to hydrate because you're just out playing all day long with your friends. So physical exertion is another factor that could lead to you getting sick And again, it goes back to the dehydration. So you're running around, um, you, your blood oxygen level is dropping because you can't catch your breath. You're not breathing properly because you're exerted all the time. And of course, that when your blood oxygen level drops, it causes your blood to start sickling. Or basically, that's what sickle cell is. Your blood has that abnormal shape, which is like a new moon shape, which is where the name sickle cell comes from. So your red blood cells do not form properly. So already it's restricting your oxygen flow to your joints, your organs, and all of that. And then when you get physically exerted, it reduces it further, which leads to pain crisis, where your blood thickens. And this is again leading back to hydration. So if you're not hydrating, you're not constantly drinking water or some type of hydration aid, then your blood starts to thicken. And then when it gets to the joints, it clumps there. And this is what causes the joint pain. And so as a child running around still wanting to be normal, this was one of the reasons why I would have gotten sick back then.
Okay, so you speak about joint pain. Is that one of the symptoms of sickle cell?
Yeah, well, yes, this is like the main complaint in patients with sickle cell when we do get sick. It usually starts with the extremities, your knees, your joints, elbows, ankles. Some of them actually do get swollen, sorry, and that's because your when the blood sickles and you start getting sick, it reduces circulation. And of course, if you already have thickened blood, you have less oxygen going through, and that's how you start feeling the pain. Um, it could start off as mild, and then it could go to severe. It depends on what the particular trigger was at that time. So, yeah. So, but joint pain is one of the most common complaints in crisis. Of course, you could also suffer like chest pain and lower back pain and that type of stuff as well.
I didn't know all of that. I mean, it's one thing you read about the condition, but hearing it from somebody else, it's like, as if you could actually feel the person's pain.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. Yeah, because when you see, like, I'm seeing you, like, I know but I'm seeing you normal. I'm seeing you like a normal person, and you are a normal person.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. This is what this is why programs like yours is so important because you get to educate people. Because when I initially got diagnosed back, I think it was 1988. I'm rather older than I look. um,
yeah.
but yeah, back then the information wasn't there. Like public knowledge of the illness wasn't there. So you literally had to go to a doctor to get the information that you needed. And of course, back then we didn't have the resources that we have now. Google the devices and stuff. And now we have AI. Actually, you could just type in a command and it will tell you everything. But back then we didn't have the information like readily available. So you literally had to go do your own research, like start reading encyclopedias, medical journals, and then talking to people. This is why the St. Lucia Sickle Cell Association was formed. We are still operating. Currently, just a side note there on the Sickle Cell Association, they are actually hosting a summer camp. So if you are, no matter where you are on the island, you can reach out to them and try to contribute They actually had a football camp last week, and they're trying to raise some funds to get some balls and stuff for the kids. So if you are in the Castries area, they're located in Lochleary, right next to the Catholic Church, the building opposite the road. You can check them out. The camp is being held, I believe, on the Lochleary field. So you can check them out if you're around in Castries, right? Um, but going back to the formation of the Sickle Cell Association. So the Sickle Cell Association was formed by Miss Paula Coljan. A lot of people within the commerce sector would know her, one of the founding um, members and owner operator of Caribbean Earnings, right? So she formed the association simply to help other people in the community to get information and to help treat sickle cell because her children were diagnosed with sickle cell, right? And from there, they have done other things in the community. Also, Dr. Joycelyn Bird is actually the physician, the go-to physician for sickle cell and sicklers right now. So if you like more information, you can reach out to either Miss Sophia at the St. Lucia Sickle Cell Association or Dr. Joycelyn Bird, and then they could definitely give you more information on that. Yeah.
About that information. And are you a member of the Sickle Cell Association, Kirill?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, so you said about her children were born. Do you have other family members that has sickle cell in the family? Like any other?
Oh, no. No, I'm the only one.
Oh, you're the only one?
Yeah, so I have like 5 siblings, and I'm the only one with sickle cell.
And does any of your parents have the sickle cell traits by any chance?
Oh yeah, well, the only way you could actually get sickle cell, which is a hereditary disease, is that your parents must be carriers of the trait or must be full-blown sicklers. Both my parents are sickle cell trait, so they are carriers of the trait. So we had they had, sorry, not me. They had is with parents being the trait, they had like a 25% chance of having a child with sickle cell, and I was the lucky 25%.
Yeah, you were the lucky. But you're doing very well. You're doing very well, I must say, because you recently got married, right? So you live in.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
I saw the wedding photos. I don't watch the business. Also, you have a baby, right?
Yeah, I have a baby girl. I have a baby girl as well. Yeah.
Very baby girl.
And she's only a sickle cell carrier, so she has a trait.
Oh, she has a trait. So that's
yes,
a good thing.
Yeah. Now, sickle cell trait doesn't mean that you're actually immune from some of the ills of sickle cell, because there are people with the sickle cell trait who could suffer mild symptoms to full-blown sickle cell. But it's about educating yourself and getting to know what you could do and how to manage and help your child, manage it as best as you can, But for the most part, people with sickle cell trait, they live a normal life just like you.
Yeah, live a normal life. You have kids. I'm not even married myself.
Well, you see, now you're going down a different road here.
So let me just say this. What's your diet? Did you have to tailor your diet because of your medical condition?
Oh, well, yeah. Being first diagnosed, we receive a dietary plan. Of course, that includes a lot of dark green leafy vegetables. Now, right now, I'm an adult. I have eaten so much of those that I hardly want to eat them anymore. All right, but hey, honest truth here. But yeah, I still consume them. So basically, because sickle cell affects your blood and your hemoglobin levels, you want to consume dark leafy vegetables where you could get your riboflavin out of them. That would help boost your iron content naturally. And I'm stressing on naturally because most people will say, hey, you could take iron supplements. But with people with sickle cell, your body doesn't absorb iron from supplements or over the counter supplements. It actually is harsh on your body. And so you can't actually absorb it. So you want to get it from your natural vegetables like spinach, beetroot. Beetroot is a very important vegetable to consume as someone with sickle cell because it will help boost your blood count. Now, to stress on that a little bit more, you find with people with sickle cell, the blood count is unusually low and their white blood cell count is rather high. So for physicians who have seen sickle cell for the first time, the natural conclusion is you have an infection because your white blood count is so high. But this is just how we are naturally, right? And this is why it is important to consume your dark leafy vegetables, get as much rest, hydrate as much as possible, so that way your blood could keep producing your red blood cells and keeping your blood count high, your red blood count as high as possible.
When you say,
Um,
go ahead,
Yeah,
Kareem.
sorry, just continuing on the diet stuff. Also, it is important to consume as less or little sugar as possible. So, junk foods, sweets, chocolates, and that type of stuff, those was things that I had to cut out, especially soft drinks. Anything that has a high sugar content. These are bad for you because consuming a lot of sugar leads to dehydration. So if you are consuming those and you are not drinking adequate water, then you're pretty much borderline on the edge of like 1 minute, an hour away from a sickle cell crisis.
Oh, and things like coffee too, like caffeine.
Oh well, yeah, but I do drink coffee, and that's like my little vice. I can do without coffee, but you need this coffee. Hey, this is not a paid promotion.
Yeah, because I'm saying, I mean, you can't drink. I mean, a lot of people would always need a little caffeine high, either Coke or coffee.
Yeah, a lot of people, yes, but I drink coffee in the morning. But then I hydrate a lot. So remember, I said every time you see me, I would have a bottle of water. That's so I hydrate throughout the day. Especially now because it's unusually hot outside for this time of the year. It is important not just sicklers but everybody on the whole to hydrate. So hey, go out and get your water. I love blue waters, not another paid promotion, but I love blue waters.
I was saying something. When you say your dark green leafy vegetables, you're talking about your spinach and stuff.
You're right, that's correct. Yeah, spinach, carrots, beetroot, callaloo. Now, one that is a little bit unorthodox, but it actually works, is the young dashing leaves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you could steam them, saute them just like you would with spinach. Very delicious with some butter, garlic. Hey, try it. I'm telling you, don't knock it until you try it. That's actually very good. Packs just as much iron as spinach. It's very delicious. It's actually a delicacy in Trinidad, so this is not something that I made up by myself.
I'll look it up. The dashing
Yeah.
leafy and garlic, you steam it.
Yes. Yeah, you steam it and then you eat it just like you would spinach. The same way you would prepare spinach, you could prepare. But it has to be the young leaves though, not the hard ones.
Like the folded leaves, like the leaves that are still folded.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We put in the bouillon, right?
Right. Yes. So you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Now let me tell you, these things are far from my diet. Thank you very much. But I'm glad you told me things, so that means I really have to check myself.
Also, a very important one and readily available pigeon peas, the fresh pigeon peas. Yeah, it's delicious. So it's good for you. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, nobody has pigeon peas like before. Everybody just buy that in the packet. Yeah.
Yeah, but homegrown is always best. But I buy the one in the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Erin, you speak about that because some of the things that will help you is so readily available, like the spinach and all of these things are so readily available to us. It's just that some of us don't, like you said, if you've been doing something from the time you were a child, now you feel like you don't really, and I can well understand that. I can well
yeah,
understand that, and but at least you're doing what you're supposed to do as an adult,
yeah,
and based on
definitely.
experience, you can better guide your own daughter. Don't spoil her too much, but you're able to guide her to deal with anything that comes her way. Karil, having said that, you said about going, being hospitalized. What was some of the experience as a child being hospitalized? What did you actually go through? I mean, when you were
So hospitalization. It's hospitalization was really truly. Oh, sorry. Experiencing some technical difficulties there.
we can hear you.
Uh, that's weird. Hey, are you there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Karil, yes. Karil, we can hear you. Sorry, people were experiencing some technical difficulty.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think I just lost my feed. Anyway, hospitalization. When getting hospitalized, first off, you would report to the, well, I would have to complain of pain. And then my mom would, or my grandmother, I grew up with my grandmother. So my grandmother would take me to the hospital and they would administer an IV first. So it would depend on how severe the pain was, or decide what medication I would receive. So it started off with like mild medication, like from being young. So like Panadol and that type of stuff. And then it gradually moved on to opiates. So there was this medication, you could only get it through IV called pethidine, which is a very strong medication. And then in extreme conditions of pain, we they would administer morphine. And of course, this has to be controlled. So there's like a specific dosage for your weight and stuff like that. So yeah, that's some of
Karil, we're not hearing you anymore.
the course of action, especially if you have try to figure out whether you have an infection or something, so and decide how to treat you. Sometimes you would have an infection, and then they would administer antibiotics through the IV as well.
Hmm.
Uh,
Did you, by any chance, had to get any blood transfusion as you go through that journey? Karil, are you with us? Are you with us, Karil? Oh, he said, maybe, hold on. Okay, so Karil will have to log off for a little while through some technical difficulties and he'll come back with us. Right? Karil, you hearing me? Okay, so he'll log off. You were speaking about the journey through the hospital and so on. He will definitely resume as soon as he gets um, the issue sorted out. So again, we have Kirill Stephen with us, and he's speaking about his journey as a sickle seller. And this is to help people understand what persons are going through. Erlan, you want to say something? um, and how children cope with the medical condition. And that is for our people at home, our parents, our teachers, society, to understand what persons are going through when they have a medical condition and to create awareness. Because unless you're not in it, you will not know. And that is the thing. A lot of people feel, oh, you're a sickle cell, and that is it. There is a journey people go through, the ups and downs, the challenges, and we have to learn to respect that. Even our medical professionals, too. I'm not leaving them out. Even our medical professionals, because you're not in the person's shoes, you do not know what they're going through, and so on. So, bringing Kirill in and to create that level of awareness is to help community members understand what persons are going through when they have a specific medical condition. It's not always about, you heard a doctor speak about it, but hearing a friend, a neighbor, a community member speak about it, you get a different perspective of the medical condition. And that is why we always have awareness and to bring it out so that people can, some people have no empathy. And that is why we bring in all these medical conditions, all this awareness out to community members. Um, Kirill, are you back with us?
Yes, I am. My
Wonderful.
my device went haywire. That's all.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I'm back.
you were speaking about being hospitalized and so on. Can you continue?
Yeah. So whenever you report to the hospital as a sickler, you get priority. Usually after triage, when the nurse assesses you, they would determine whether you are critical, where you need immediate medical attention, or if you could go through the regular process. Most times, sicklers require immediate medical attention because most times we are in severe pain. We hyperventilate. So it's important to note that you are urged to try to breathe as normal as possible, but the pain that you go through, it's actually very difficult. So you hyperventilate a lot, which reduces your blood oxygen level even further, right? So they take you immediately to the ER, and the first thing that they do, they would put you on IV, sorry, an IV. So usually about 1,000 millimeters, the bigger bag, drips as they call it. They start you off with that, and then they go through the regular assessment protocol where they try to determine how severe your pain is, w- and what might have led to it, how long you've been in crisis, because some of us are stubborn. So we,
I get that feeling.
I'm speaking from experience myself. So sometimes you may have felt ill the night before, and you try to medicate at home. Now, I don't know how much you caught before I had to go off. Um, Even at home, we do have some strong medications taken. Tramadol with Gravol to prevent nausea, Cocodamol. Now, all of those are opiate based. Now, these are pretty strong medications to be taken at home. They could become dependent.
Dependent.
Now, yeah, some sicklers, we have taken it so much that the effectiveness of those medications are reduced. And for that reason, they don't always work for us at home, right? In extreme cases, you do find some sicklers are prescribed morphine via tablet form for home as well. Now, these must be monitored because it is also a controlled substance. So if you overdose, it could go wrong very quickly. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, of course, that is like in extreme cases. This is very rare in St. Lucia. I don't know if there are sicklers who have been prescribed it, but I'm still on Cocodamol. Um,
Nice.
matter of fact, my prescriptions actually expire because I don't take them as often. Um, yeah, but
That's a
um,
good thing. Is that a good thing?
that is a very good thing.
All right.
Yeah, I have loads of medication that expire on a regular basis. Like I fill the prescriptions um because I have to, just in the event that I need it,
And
but I don't get to take them as often, which is a good thing. So I try to stay out of the hospital, and the pricks, although I'm not afraid of them, they are not fun. No matter how many pricks you get, man, they're really not fun. They get painful after a while.
yes,
Right? Yeah. So and
especially
hey,
somebody that doesn't have light hands.
yeah,
Have to wait.
I've been going through this from 8 years. I'm 43 now. So yeah, that's a lot of pricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but then so after your visit to the ER, it depends on how quickly you resolve. Now, most sticklers will resolve with like 2 bags of IV and a shot of pethidine or tramadol or even this common one that a lot of people take, diclofenac, right? Diclofenac. So most of us will resolve with just that. But in extreme cases, now you do get admitted if you are not resolving. And that's after exhausting all the possible combinations of medication that you could take, pain medication that you could take. Because they would start off with the mildest one first and then escalate to the strongest one, right? And if you don't resolve within a few hours, then the internal medicine physician, you would be referred to internal medicine, and then they would come assess you again and then admit you to the ward. And on the ward, the cycle continues, more IV and more pain medication. And of course, if they warrant that you require antibiotics, if you do have an infection, then they would administer those antibiotics until you resolve. A typical stay for a sickler at a hospital is like 4 to 5 days before you are strong enough or well enough to go home. Now, even at the time that you get discharged, you are not pain free. The recovery process after admission or hospitalization takes a minimum of about another 7 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you have to regain your strength. You still have phantom pain. So it takes a lot. Um, we being a sickler or having someone within your circle with sickle cell, it takes a lot of patience and the support system has to be very strong to help you deal with it. Because uh, sicklers, we do experience depression and that type of stuff because it's a lot to deal with. Yeah, so your support system needs to be strong.
So what's about those that actually needs the blood transfusion?
This is like extreme cases. Um, there are people. There are a lot of contributing factors to that, to needing a blood transfusion. Um, your blood oxygen level keeps dropping. Your blood count isn't coming up fast enough, as the doctors would like, even with medication and stuff like that. And then they would decide whether you need a blood transfusion. Also, infections like respiratory infections would lead to that as well. I've only needed a blood transfusion once, and that was because I had pneumonia. Right, I had caught pneumonia about 10 years ago. All right, so respiratory illness, blood oxygen low, blood count not resolving. So it was determined that I needed a blood transfusion, and I received one. And like it takes a day before you could actually see the results. So like I received the transfusion, and then like the following day they saw a difference in my blood oxygen level, my blood count, and then my recovery started from there. Yeah.
So, Karen, let me ask. After secondary school, you seek. Well, I don't know if it's after secondary school, but there comes a point where you had to seek employment and so on. How did you cope with the workplace? That if you felt
uh,
sick, sick leave, and all of these things.
all right. Sickle cell and the workplace and workplace challenges. um yeah, integration into the workplace could be difficult. um it helps to have an employer who is empathetic, and of course if they do have first-hand knowledge of sickle cell, that helps. My very first job was at a resort. I will
Mhm.
not name the name. um and it, of course, full disclosure, I had informed them that I have sickle cell. All right. um Education, I mentioned education is important earlier, I believe. And well, it came to a point where when my coworkers found out that I had sickle cell, they were not educated on the subject matter. So there was a little bit of an issue with my coworkers and my condition, you
Yeah.
know. But there was no issue with me and my coworkers, you know what I mean? That type of deal. So I moved on from there. I took the opportunity to educate those that I could, but then, people attach stigma to certain conditions or lifestyles and stuff like that. And that you cannot get away from. That will always be there. There will always be some type of prejudice towards some type of ailment or type of lifestyle. You know what I mean? Um, the best you could do is to be positive and always have a forward outlook on life. So from that job, I transitioned into the job most people remember me from, which is at the airport. I was working with a contractor doing aviation security.
Yeah, that's what
Now,
I remember you as security.
yeah.
True.
So,
The base.
yeah, now,
Oh, is it some color? Yeah.
yeah, it was a dark green kind of olive. It was an
Olive
olive
green.
colored shirt and black trousers. The company is still in operation. They're still doing the thing. I worked with them for 8 years. The difference between my first job and that job was that the gentleman, he was more empathetic and very understanding and accommodating. Right? Of course, being a sickler, you actually go into every job environment being disadvantaged because there are things your coworkers can do that you can't do. Right?
Yes.
And so basically, you try to be the best version of yourself that you can be, and you go above and beyond to meet the demand of the job in the best way that you can do it within the limitations that you experience, right? And I did that job. It was a very good job. Um, at the time that I left the job, I had been promoted to a lead agent, which is basically a junior supervisor,
Oh,
right?
cool.
Yeah. Um, of course, being at the job for so long with what it entails and the demands, after a while, it started taking a toll on me because there are other complications that we haven't even touched on. I think we might actually need another session.
Yeah, we will. We might do that.
So there was this one complication that I couldn't overcome, which was directly related to the job. All right. And then I decided to move on from there into what I am doing currently, which is tourism transportation, commonly known as taxi, right? Um, Becoming a taxi driver, it's more relaxing, it's more laid back. It gives you enough time to rest. And then, of course, it keeps you out of the heat for most of the day. I'm
Yes,
currently I'm currently sitting in my car in the AC. so
yes.
it keeps you out of the heat, so it helps manage more better, sorry, I should say. But you know, there's a saying, ignorance is bliss. But really and truly, when dealing within the workplace, ignorance shouldn't be an excuse, right? When it comes to knowing your employees and what they require to make it a safe workplace for them. I find a lot of employers, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. I don't want to rub the, you know, Employers Federation the wrong way. Um, Employers, a lot of them don't take the time to learn and understand, because productivity is key. So you want people who could produce for you, right? But also, it's just about taking the time with your human resource officers to sit with your employee whom you know, not just sickle cell, but any other medical complication. If you are aware of it, you take the time to sit with your human resource department and that individual and learn what the company can do, especially if the person is very productive, you know, what the company could do to make, the workplace more welcoming for them, because as a stickler, you feel the need to want to produce and outperform everybody else because, like I said, you're already coming in disadvantage, whether physically or emotionally. You know, um, you're not here to slack off because you need to prove that, hey, I deserve to be here just like everybody else. So there's already that pressure of wanting to deliver, and it could be strenuous, it could be a little bit stressful on your part as the patient or the person with the illness. And of course, having a workplace behind you that understands, especially it goes back to the support system, your peers within the workplace, making it as comfortable for you as possible. That helps with you becoming overall a better team member. If you are not alienated because hey, you are sickle cell or any other disease or illness, I should say.
Sorry about that.
Uh,
Cheryl, I really understand a little bit more. I think you were very, very comprehensive, although you had not touched on the complications part. Hopefully, we can really come back in September and in a part two. Um,
yeah, yeah.
um, I just want to say thank you so very much for being on the talk show with us today. We're very, very grateful. I realized you're wearing your color for sickle cell because this morning I had to go and research what color is sickle cell awareness. It's a pity
Yeah,
I don't have any burgundy or dark red. So I chose,
dark red, yeah.
yeah.
Um, Also, just want to touch on there's also the wristband drive
Mhm.
to wristbands. It's the Sickle Cell Association. We actually thrive on donations from the public and stuff. So any assistance you could give, a wristband is like only $5. So if you're in the Castros area, or if you want to help with that, you could swing by the office, pick up a few wristbands, and then just sell them and just make the donation anytime you're back in Castros.
Wow.
Um, Not to forget to reach out to them if you're in the Castros area to contribute. It could be waters, some stuff for the kids, fruits, whatever. A little goes a long way. So be
Very,
sure to support.
very, very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah. Yeah. Even I mean time is a lot of people time is limited, but if you could like donate some of your time as well, it's appreciated. Yeah.
Okay. So, persons, are you hearing this? It's opposite the La Clary Catholic Church. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just the building next door. Yeah.
the building next door. I think I have a clear idea where it is. Yes,
Yeah.
in that kind
And
yeah, the little step
there is like a cream building.
cream building. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, again, Kirill, thank you so very much for coming out there and discussing with us. I'm really, really happy that you can share your experience as an individual with us. It's like I said, it takes a lot of courage to be here. And, once we ask, it was never an issue for you. I was really, really glad no matter the challenge that you would have faced today. I say, thank God, I guess I was praying really, really hard
Really hard.
that you could come. And let me just say again, congratulations um, on your wedding and having a baby girl. That's a milestone, a very, very good milestone. For all the challenges you've had as a sickle seller. And that's to show people when you have a medical condition, you can still live a normal life. I mean, there are challenges sometimes, but like you said, if you do certain things, it can really, really help out in the process. Like you said, your diet, you don't exert yourself and you drink a lot of water. So these are because there are a lot of people that have medical conditions and they are not compliant when it comes to a lot of stuff. So I'm really, really glad that you really highlighted that. So again, thank you so very much, Kirill. Please stay on while I say one more thing. Again, we want to say, like Kirill said, if anybody, organization, especially in the Sufra region or the West Coast or the South, don't forget the Sickle Cell Association. You can always call them. Do you have a number for them, Kirill?
Oh yeah, sure. Give me
Yeah. And you can call them up, make a donation. It's always wise, and to take it from there. Like Kirill said, there are a group of activities going on and so on. And always invite your children. If you know you have a child with that medical condition, let them be among other children with the medical condition so they can interact with each other and they can know the way forward for them.
Yeah, I just forwarded it to you. That's the Sickle Cell Association president. I sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So you could reach out to her. Her name is Miss Sophia.
Okay, so
So
Miss Sophia, Sickle Cell Association, the telephone number is 485-2355. Yeah, and they're really looking forward for some donations. 485-2355. Miss Sophia, Sickle Cell Association. All right. So,
uh,
Skurril, thanks a million.
thanks for having me on, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Likewise, take care.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye. So, Erland bowled me out already this morning. Firebird. Don't bowl me out. I have one more announcement. Thank you very much. Romanas is always there, even if you don't see him. So let me just say this. Yesterday, the Department of Environmental Health had a road show where they wanted to create awareness as it relates to vectors and what can you do to prevent the proliferation of vectors, and they were all in the Choiseul communities. So they want to say a very big thank you to all their sponsors, and they're hoping that persons took heed of what they said to them to stop breeding mosquitoes and rodents and harboring rodents around their homes and in the community, as well as, all about vector-borne diseases, because we know we have quite a bit of vector-borne diseases island-wide, and some of them can kill you if you don't take the necessary precaution. And it's always about the sanitary conditions in and around your home. So we want persons to be mindful of that. So they're saying thank you to all the sponsors for the roadshow from the Choiseul community and Soufre, that is Kel's Supermarket, Massy Stores, Choiseul, Cool Joint, Savers Mat, Frontiers Supermarket, Choiseul Cooperative Credit Union, D's, that is La Fosse Supermarket, Choiseul Village Council, and Choiseul Fisheries Complex. They would like to extend that special thank you in donating to the roadshow, sponsoring the roadshow. Again, they're so very, very grateful. As a former environmental health officer myself, I am really happy that, the small businesses in Choiseul was able to give something out. You don't get that very often, so that means they're really, really rallying the cause, yeah? So again, thank you so very much for all our sponsors from environmental health. They're very, very grateful, especially the Soufre branch. Very, very grateful for all the sponsors. All right. So thank you again, everybody, for listening to Casualty 911. Again, thank you, Erlan. Thank you, Rome, for always being there and always assisting. Do have a pleasant day, everybody, and do take care.